Coming up next on UCF Sports Night, farewell to a legend. We pay tribute to the great Torchy Clark. Plus all the highlights of the week, including top plays. All that and more next on UCF Sports Night.
UCF Sports Night is brought to you by UCF TV. Today's show is also presented in part by Bright House Networks. See how bright life can be. By Holler Classic, the official automotive group of the UCF Knights. And by Coca-Cola. Welcome to the Coke side of life.
Hello and welcome once again to this week's edition of UCF Sports Night. I'm Jeff Sharon. So glad you could join us. This week, the baseball team continued its big push with 5 key games, including a midweek home-and-home against their arch rivals to the west, the South Florida Bulls, who came in ranked in the top 25. But Coach Rooney's team is coming in hot. They'd won 3 of the previous 4 coming into the first game with USF at the baseball complex. Let's take a look at the highlights. A big night for UCF against their I-4 rivals, and a big night for one guy in particular, DJ Hicks. Down 3-0 in the 4th inning, and with 2 on, DJ goes deep, a 3-run homer that would tie the game. Then, still tied in the 6th with 1 on, Hicks goes deep again, a 2-run shot this time to give UCF the lead. Meanwhile, on the mound, Evan Stobbs ripped off a new career high, 7 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings, and later gave way to, guess who? DJ Hicks, who slammed the door on the Bulls and helped to preserve a 9-5 victory over number 25 USF. Then it was over to Tampa for the second half of the home-and-home with USF, and again Shane Brown led the way. He collects at least a pair of hits in his 6th consecutive game, but USF was too much at home and they get the 9-3 win. So it was back home for another tough conference series as Marshall came to town. In Game 1 on Friday night, the Bats showed up early. First, Brandon Romans continues to get the job done. An RBI double down the line here scores Colin Arnold to tie the game at 2. And again, it was DJ Hicks who led the way with some power, leading 4-3 in the 5th, and with 2 on, DJ goes long ball again, a 3-run shot to give UCF a 7-3 lead. Caleb Graham also threw 6 1/3 on the hill with 3 Ks, but in the end, Marshall came up with some 2-out magic in the later innings and stole a 10-8 win. More power for the Knights on Saturday against the Herd, and Brandon Romans continued his prowess at the plate. Leading off the 2nd inning, Romans takes this 1-1 pitch deep to right, a solo shot bringing UCF within 1. Then in the 5th inning, Colin Arnold gets into the act, a 2-run blast of his own here, and that would tie this thing up at 4 apiece. It would stay that way into the later innings thanks to Jagger Good, who tossed his best outing of the year, mowing down 5 in 6 1/3. But again, the Herd's bats would wake up late, and they win this one going away 18-8. So the Knights tried to salvage one on Sunday, and again, Brandon Romans brought the big stick. 2nd inning, he goes deep again, a solo blast, bringing the Knights back within 1. UCF still trailed until the 7th, when the Knights broke out for a 5 spot. The highlight was here, with Chris Duffy bringing home a pair with this base hit, helping give the Knights a 6-3 lead. Then next inning, Kiko Vasquez gets into the act, a solo shot, pumping the lead up to 7-3. Marshall again came back, forcing extra innings, but then in the bottom of the 11th, with the bases loaded and 2 out, Shane Brown at the plate. Watch as he grounds this one to 2nd. The ball is booted, and that allows Chris Duffy to score from 3rd and gives the Knights the 8-7 victory. Over to softball for senior weekend, and things got started with a big double dip against UTEP. Game number 1, Tiffany Lane sets the tone here. She slaps a 2-run single, putting the Knights on the board. Then down 3-2 in the 6th with 2 on, Lane again at the plate. Base hit here, that scores Natalie Landon, ties the game at 3. Still tied in the final frame, Hillary Barrow on 3rd with 1 out. The senior Lindsey Dean takes this one deep to left. It's caught, but it gets Barrow in from 3rd, and the Knights get the walk-off 4-3 win in Game 1. Game 2 at the softball complex. The story here was Christina DeMello, another powerful outing as she went the distance and struck out 6 minors. And she got some help. Tiffany Lane had another 3-for-4 outing, including a pair of run-scoring singles, finishing the day 6 for 7 with 5 RBIs total in the doubleheader. and the Knights score 1 run in each of the first 5 innings, and they take the win 5-2. So that brought us to Senior Day as UCF bid farewell to Lindsey Dean, Megan Paul, Brianne Javier, and Lexi Gresham. And a great moment early on as Gresham got the start in left field, her first and only action this season due to injury. She stayed in for 1 batter and got an ovation upon her exit. Senior Megan Paul got the start in the circle and was big at the dish as she rips this long RBI double to left. UCF would tack on another run in the bottom of the 7th, but it would not be enough as the rally falls just short, 3-2 the final.
Emotional day for all of us. Wanting to come out with a win for our seniors, but I'm very proud of our fans coming out and supporting us on our senior day. Watching our moms throw out the first pitch. I'm very proud of them and excited to what's going to be ahead of our seniors.
Women's golf news this week. Congratulations to the team on being selected to go to the NCAA Regionals. It's the 2nd straight season the Knights have earned a bid to the NCAAs. They will take part in the East Regional, which will be played at Mark Bostic Golf Course at the University of Florida in Gainesville. And of course, for more news and scores, all you have to do is log on to UCFathletics.com, your online home for UCF sports. Don't go away. Coming up next, we've got something special for you. We pay tribute to the father of UCF basketball, the great Torchy Clark. That and more when UCF Sports Night returns. Fans, UCF Knights Tour 2009 is on the road. You can talk with UCF coaches from all sports about their programs. For more information on dates and when the tour comes to your area, visit UCFathletics.com. Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. Last week, UCF mourned the passing of a legend. Eugene Torchy Clark, the founder of UCF's men's basketball program, passed away at the age of 80. Last year, we did a 2-part feature on Coach Clark for UCF Sports Today, and we found it appropriate to re-air that feature for this week's episode of UCF Sports Night. Here now, part 1 of our special tribute to Coach Torchy Clark in our Sports Night Spotlight.
It began as a club level, and the first coach was Torchy Clark. Several of his acquaintances had moved down here to begin the university's athletic program, and they called Torchy up, sort of with the promise of creating the Marquette of the South down here, and to a large degree, he did do that at the Division II level. It was a program that excelled.
That first year, the year I was there, 70 to 71, we only had, there was only a few scholarships and they were taken. So most of these kids came out there walk-ons. They just want to play ball. The desire was there, and it was very limited. There was no gymnasium.
The teams played their games all over the city.
We were playing whoever would play us. We had a few military bases, which had great basketball because they had ex-college players in the military.
And they had to play those games after Winter Park High School was done with them for the night. So games times were 9 o'clock in a lot of cases.
We didn't draw big crowds starting out, but we had a nice group of support from the students. It was a very small school at the time.
It was a glorious sport in a lot of ways. It was because the basketball program that Torchy built brought the campus together, whether it was for the first 5, 6, 7 years of the school's existence. There was nothing to pull the student body together, and the basketball program really did that.
I think people cared, and then as he started winning, it brought people out, the press, and some of his antics and some of his electricity and chemistry. It was actually a show, and some people even quoted, say, I paid to come see Torchy perform.
What drew the fans to Torchy was his personality. He wasn't the biggest man that ever lived, but his personality was huge.
He's a tough guy. He may be a little man of stature, but he's got the heart of a lion.
If he disagreed with the call and the ball happened to be anywhere near him, he would hold the ball behind his back until he had his say with the refs. He would grab a player and just basically hurl him into the game to try to get somebody out that he thought wasn't performing as well as he would. He'd throw his jacket on the floor. He'd kick chairs. He'd sit at the end of the bench and just yell at referees and players. And sometimes even when he got fed up, he would just kind of wander up into the stands and talk to the students in the stands about their love life or their classes, how they were doing.
They didn't call him Torchy for nothing, put it that way. All right, there's a reason why.
He was also a member of the faculty and one of the best teachers and most beloved teachers that a lot of our students have had over the years, just until a few years ago.
In the classroom, you know, I run into folks all the time that talk about Torchy Clark. Man, I had Torchy for an instructor, and you know, his sports psychologist, Dante Culpepper, I met Dante one night, and he loved Torchy Clark.
Torchy's program was built largely on Torchy's personality, and it wasn't with the facilities that he was given.
I think he took a bunch of nomads, meaning us players from Wisconsin, from Boone High School, from Winter Park, from Evans, no gym, and he found a way to make us click, to make us compete.
The unique thing about Torchy was he could extract out of you every bit of what talent you had. He'd bring it out of you.
He always said, if I could take my gut out and put it in you guys, we'd be unbelievable, because he had this tenacity about him.
And I know this, if you give, if everything's equal, and you give Torchy Clark the same equal talent this other guy's got in Division I, and you put them together, he'll beat you in the end if you're not careful. He will. He doesn't quit till the buzzer's off.
Coming up next, part 2 of our tribute to Coach Torchy Clark when UCF Sports Night returns. Fans, UCF Knights Tour 2009 is on the road. You can talk with UCF coaches from all sports about their programs. For more information on dates and when the tour comes to your area, visit UCFathletics.com. Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. We're paying tribute to the late Torchy Clark on this week's program. We now continue with part 2 of our special feature.
The basketball program really took off with the advent of the Sunshine State Conference.
The conference had a great impact on the program, especially from my point of view, players' point of view. It gave us something to look forward to.
We had instant rivalries, crosstown rivalries.
And we were successful, which also made it a lot of fun.
And it really was cemented in a 25-day period when, starting in January of that year, when we beat the #1 team in the nation, Florida Southern.
They came to our place at Winter Park High School, and we kicked their tail.
They let the ball just kind of die with 70 seconds to go. We just dribbled the ball away, and the place was just absolutely going nuts because we couldn't believe that we had just beaten the #1 team in the nation. A week later, we beat the next #1 team in the nation in Rollins.
Rollins, it didn't matter if we were ranked last and they were ranked next to last or vice versa, it was Rollins. And we didn't like them, and they didn't like us.
We beat them handily both times. And then 2 weeks later, we played Rollins for what would become the first ever representative to the Division II tournament from the state of Florida.
The game 2 gives me goosebumps.
We got down by 22 points with 12 minutes to go in the game. Torchy calls timeout.
Well, Torchy had quite a few choice words for us about how we were not playing well.
He called for a press. Rollins got into foul trouble.
We tied him up. In overtime, we beat them by 17, and we scored a basket for them.
And for us to come back, it was just an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, so it was crazy. Game 2 was unbelievable. I think most FTU folks back, if they want to talk about one game, it would be that game. That was the game.
It was just a great time to be a fan for UCF.
You know, 2 years prior to that, we made it to the regionals. We lost in the first round. The next year, we made it to the regionals finals. So the next year, you know, that was the next step. They won the regionals and then went on and played against Cheney State, I believe, in the semifinals.
Yeah, we went to the Division II Final Four in 1978. We won 24 games in a row that year. It was the longest winning streak in the nation. We kept that level of play for at least 4 more years. In the 80s, we were always in the top 5 in the nation. We were number 1 or number 2 on several occasions.
The guys that played back then, you know, we played because we loved to play. I don't think any of us would change anything.
To play for Torchy Clark was an honor for me.
The progression of UCF basketball from the point that Torchy started it till he left was one of a growth to becoming a Division II power.
It was just a different time, you know, and it was the lead-in to developing the program for the future.
I wouldn't change anything about what we did 30 years ago. Man, the guys we suit up with every night, you know, to go out there and Coach Clark leading us and all that other stuff, that's the best of all. And if we had a small piece in starting this, what it is right now, so be it.
Coach Clark is survived by his 5 children and 17 grandchildren. He still ranks as the winningest head basketball coach in UCF history. Well, don't go away. Coming up next here on UCF Sports Night, we sit down with Athletic Director Keith Tribble in Knights Talk. That and more when we return. Fans, season tickets for UCF football in 2009 are available now. For more information, including new payment options, contact the ticket office at 407-UCF-1000 or visit UCFathletics.com. Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. Plays of the week are on deck, but first let's check in with Knights Talk with Athletic Director Keith Tribble. And as we wind down the spring semester, we look toward the fall and football season. So we asked, what are your thoughts on the football team as we head toward the 2009 season?
Well, you know, being a former football player, you know, I always look forward to the football season, and I know our student athletes are doing the same. I've had a chance to watch them work out in the weight room and do their off-season conditioning, and I think they have a lot to prove for last season. It didn't go the way they thought it should go, and in fact, the way that a lot of us didn't think it should go, and I think they want to come out and really show the fans that they're a championship caliber team. I know our coaches have been working very hard. We had a spectacular recruiting year, and at the end of the day, recruiting is the lifeblood. And so I'm looking forward to our start of football season.
Time now for some news and notes from the week. Congratulations to Shane Brown, whose amazing week last week earned him several national awards. In addition to being named Conference USA's Hitter of the Week, he also won the Louisville Slugger National Player of the Week, Bright House Student Athlete of the Week, National College Baseball Writers Association Hitter of the Week, College Baseball Insider's National Player of the Week, and last but not least, he was named to the College Baseball Foundation's National All-Star lineup. All this, of course, for tying an NCAA record by reaching base in 18 consecutive plate appearances. Now on to our Sports Night Plays of the Week. Play number 3 from baseball. DJ Hicks picked up a 2-for-1 against USF as he smacked a pair of home runs in the first game of a home-and-home for UCF. That continued DJ's power surge and helped the Knights to a big home victory against the 25th-ranked Bulls. Play number 2, softball, game 1 of the doubleheader against UTEP. Runner on third and 1 out in the bottom of the 7th for the senior, Lindsey Dean. She hits this one deep to left. It's caught, but it's deep enough to get Hillary Barrow in from third. And on senior weekend, the senior sacrifice fly gives UCF a big 4-3 win. Play number 1 stays with softball, and Natalie Land had the web gem of the week. Sharp grounder to short. Watch the diving stop, and she gets up and throws from her knees for the out. A spectacular play by the freshman. And those are your Sports Night Plays of the Week. The last of the spring sports head toward the finish line as we look at the week ahead. First, baseball has back-to-back midweek games at home against in-state rivals. They take on FIU at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, and then Stetson at the same time on Wednesday night. Both of those games can be seen live on UCFathletics.com. Thursday, the softball team heads out to El Paso, Texas for the Conference USA tournament. It goes Thursday through Saturday, and you can hear the night's action with Eric Lopez on the call, live on UCFathletics.com. Women's golf also heads up to Gainesville for the NCAA Regionals. That tournament goes Thursday through Saturday. Baseball visits Houston to face the Rice Owls in a big conference series over the weekend. The series begins Friday at 7:30 p.m., followed by Game 2 on Saturday at 3 p.m. and Game 3 Sunday at 2 p.m. Back at home on Sunday, the track and field team hosts the UCF Twilight, going all day at the track and soccer complex. And Tuesday, baseball heads up to DeLand for one more matchup with Stetson. First pitch is at 6:30 p.m. And of course, don't forget to catch UCF Sports Night every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. on Sun Sports. And you can also catch us at our regular times on Bright House Sports Network and all week on UCF TV. Check your local listings for details. And as always, for all the latest news and scores from all UCF sports, check us out on the web at UCFathletics.com. And of course, if you want to check this episode out another time, or you want to see any of our archived episodes of UCF Sports Night, you can anytime you want on your computer. All you have to do is visit www.ucf.tv. Well, that'll do it for us for this week here on UCF Sports Night. For all of us at UCF Athletics and UCF TV, I'm Jeff Sharon saying thank you so much for watching, and go Knights!
Hey, this is LT from 101.1 WJRR. You're listening to the best sounds of area music. UCF Athletics, Access Magazine, and WJRR are proud to support local artists. You can find more great artists by going online at www.wjrr.com and also accessmag.com, and by listening to Native Noise each and every Sunday at 11 o'clock.
UCF Sports Night has been brought to you by UCF TV. Today's show is also presented in part by Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. By the energy-saving conservation programs of Tico People's Gas. And by Centex Homes, proud to support UCF Athletics.